Whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it is time to pause and reflect. These words from Mark Twain set the stage for a journey that begins not in a corporate boardroom, but on a competitive dance floor in Buenos Aires. I remember my hands were sweating as I stood in line for the Tango World Championships semifinals, chosen from over 1,000 competitors from across the globe. At that moment, I looked at my partner and realized that my life had completely changed. I had to ask myself, what on earth would I be doing right now if I hadn't left my job and the US over a year ago? The answer to that question lies in a concept called lifestyle design. This is the art and science of ensuring that what you do with your time and what you do for money are completely different things. I transitioned from being a grossly overworked and severely underpaid office worker to becoming a member of the new rich. The new rich are those who abandon the deferred life plan, the idea of working like a slave for 40 years just to hope for happiness at the end, and instead create luxury lifestyles in the present using the currency of time and mobility. You see, $1 million in the bank isn't the fantasy. The fantasy is the lifestyle of complete freedom it supposedly allows. The real question is, how can one achieve the millionaire lifestyle of complete freedom without first having $1 million? To achieve this, we have to move through a framework I call DEAL: definition, elimination, automation, and liberation. The first step, definition, turns misguided common sense upside down. It requires us to understand the difference between absolute and relative income. We often think that someone making $500,000 a year is the most successful, but if that investment banker works 80 hours a week, they are less powerful than an employed member of the new rich who works a quarter of those hours for $40,000 but has complete freedom of when, where, and how to live. Money is multiplied in practical value depending on the number of W's you control in your life: what you do, when you do it, where you do it, and with whom you do it. I call this the freedom multiplier. In this new game, the goal is to have others work for you and to prevent work for work's sake. We want to do the minimum necessary for the maximum effect, or what I call the minimum effective load. Once we define our goals, we must move to elimination. This is the end of time management as we know it. We must realize that being effective is more important than being efficient. Effectiveness is doing the things that get you closer to your goals, while efficiency is performing a given task, whether important or not, in the most economical manner possible. As I often say, efficiency without effectiveness is the default mode of the universe. To fix this, we look to the Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule. Vilfredo Pareto Keshvidmishti that 80% of your outcomes or results come from just 20% of your activities. You must scrutinize your to-do list and focus on the few items that generate the most significant results. Complementing this is Parkinson's law, which states that work expands to occupy the time allocated for its completion. If you give yourself a long deadline, the task will stretch out regardless of the actual work required. This leads to delays and decreased efficiency. I recommend a system reset through 2 thought experiments. First, if you had a heart attack and had to work 2 hours per day, what would you do? Second, if you had a second heart attack and had to work 2 hours per week, what would you do? These constraints force you to identify the high-leverage activities and ignore the rest. We must cultivate a low-information diet and selective ignorance to protect our most precious asset, our time. The third step is automation. This is about putting your cash flow on autopilot using outsourcing. A virtual assistant is a professional who helps remotely to reduce the workload of a business owner. Smart business people all around the world have turned to virtual assistants as their hidden weapon. For example, hiring virtual assistants in the Philippines offers massive benefits because the country has a literacy rate of 96.2% and workers possess neutral speaking accents that sound American, making them easy to understand. They can handle everything from email management and daily reminders to financial bookkeeping and content writing. By delegating these repetitive tasks, you reduce your chances of burnout and free yourself to concentrate on the greater picture. However, automation is not just about hiring people, it's about creating systems. As one entrepreneur noted, it only took 6 years of dreaming and 8 to 9 years of hard work to passively make money in 4 hours per week. It's totally worth it, but way more work than promised. You need to streamline processes and figure out how to close leads effectively before you can truly step back. The goal is to separate income from time. The final step is liberation. This is the mobile manifesto for the globally inclined. It is not just about cheap travel, it's about forever breaking the bonds that confine you to a single location. This brings us to the concept of geo-arbitrage, the practice of earning income in high-wage economies while residing in low-cost regions. If you can free your time and location, your money is automatically worth 3 to 10 times as much. This is how families like Julie and Mark explored the globe for 15 months from Venice to Polynesia for less than the cost of rent and baguettes in Paris. Liberation also introduces mini-retirements, the idea of distributing recovery periods throughout your life instead of deferring them until you're 65. These extended breaks can rejuvenate you and provide new perspectives that enhance your overall productivity. We see this in digital nomad hubs like Lisbon, Madeira, and Las Palmas, where professionals blend work and leisure in what is known as a workation. While some critics argue this lifestyle is unrealistic or privileged, the underlying principle remains: reality is negotiable. In my journey, I have seen that the common-sense rules of the real world are a fragile collection of socially reinforced illusions. Most people have spent too much time convincing themselves that life has to be hard, resigning themselves to 9-to-5 drudgery in exchange for the occasional vacation. But life doesn't have to be so damn hard. By applying these principles, you can shift economic resources from areas of lower yield to areas of higher yield. As you reflect on these insights, remember to resolve now to test the concepts as an exercise in lateral thinking. If you try it, you'll see just how deep the rabbit hole goes, and you won't ever go back. The goal is not just to eliminate the bad, but to pursue and experience the best in the world. Take a deep breath. Tranquilo. Take it easy. It's time to have fun, and let the rest follow.